Okay, so you consider yourself a very good judge of character. You're not naive, you're old enough to know better, you're not gullible, and you definitely pay attention. So how do these people get so deep into our lives without ever letting us see the hook? It wasn't a mistake. Your discernment didn't fail randomly. It was already broken to begin with. And guess what? Before that person, somebody helped break it. And today we're going to talk about how. Today I want to hit it from two different angles. The human to human angle, and then also on a spiritual aspect as well. Don't worry, we're not going to get too deep into religion. Don't leave me just yet. Now, when I say discernment, I don't mean spiritual sensitivity, although that is part of it. The same way we all have that built-in moral compass to know right from wrong, we also have that ability to read a certain situation or situations at hand. For women, they call it women's intuition. For guys, we more so have the gut feeling. Something just felt off. 9 times out of 10, we can't even explain it. We just know something doesn't feel right. Now, most people assume that discernment is something you were either born with or born without. Wrong. Discernment, just like keep your eyes on your surroundings, be mindful and be self-aware of your surroundings, it's a skill that can be taught. But because it's a skill, it can also be damaged as well. Sometimes suppressed, sometimes overridden. So it's not your fault if you're around a wolf in sheep's clothing. Sometimes you just can't tell, and that's fine too. Moving along. Here are 7 signs that your discernment is broken right now. You explain away red flags without ever acknowledging them. I personally do this all the time. Whenever you work with the public, just know it's not always because somebody's having a bad day. That's your excuse for them. Another typical one is you feel crazy on the inside for having that gut feeling. Whatever you're feeling right here in the pit of your stomach does not translate to your head because your head is always trying to talk you out of it. I, again, fail at this miserably. Here's an example of this. You're at a friend's house, you're at a party or what have you, and all of a sudden people just start getting quiet around you. Now you're wondering, were they just talking about me when I wasn't here? But of course your brain is like, nah man, you're overreacting. Come on, me, what's wrong with me? Like, not everybody has bad intentions. See, that says more about me than it does about them. Why do I always think this way? Number 3, you give people one more chance. And that one more chance is not a single incident. It's 3 times. That's called a pattern. That's not grace. Number 4, you find out who somebody really is through people. Now take this one with a grain of salt. Obviously, whatever the gossip says, your discernment may not catch it. But I do want you to be aware. If A, B, and C are letting you know that D has a pattern, and you watch D repeat that pattern, that's not gossip. Your discernment didn't catch it. Your own read didn't catch it. But they warned you. You saw it. At this point, it's not gossip. It's Bible. So what are we even talking about? The next one's a funny one. I personally wrote this one down, but you feel exhausted by people after spending time with them. This can be friend, foe, family, significant others. You feel like they're moving you away from your purpose. You feel like they're moving you away from happiness. Spending time with them doesn't feel like quality time. Instead, it feels like they're draining your battery. Your discernment is letting you know. Your body's energy is letting you know. Be mindful. And speaking of being mindful, your body oftentimes is gonna know before your mind does. So be self-aware of that too. Quit playing around. Number 6, and it's tied down to most of these too, but you always have that internal question of, am I overreacting? When your discernment is working, you don't even got to ask yourself that question. You already know. The last one, I'm going to go ahead and put it back onto people. The same type of person is something that you keep finding. Different face, same energy, same damage. Let's repeat that last one real quick. Different face, same damage. Now, if that last one hit home, good. That's a pattern. A pattern that has a cause. Your discernment ain't break on its own. Here's what broke it. Trauma. If you've been hurt badly enough, your nervous system probably normalizes that danger now. So you probably overstay that party that later on gets shot up. But you didn't. You were calm. You were collective. And now you're in the hospital. Congratulations. And the crappy thing about these situations is what should start off as like a warning sign doesn't even feel like a warning sign anymore. Now it feels familiar. And of course, oftentimes with familiar, we confuse that with safe. Your discernment's working. It's just working wrong. Up next, I wrote this down for myself because I tend to do this a lot of times. I kind of had to peel back, but it's one of those lessons that I keep noticing that I keep failing at. So if you're a little kid, if you're a teenager, if you're an adult, you probably do this too. People pleasing or people pleasing conditioning. Now, if you were raised in Catholic household, a Christian household, or even just a household with siblings, you were most likely taught to prioritize everybody else's comfort too, and sometimes over your own comfort and instincts. I don't care if you're a teenager, 20s, 30s, 50s right now, you're most likely still doing this too, or some form of it. This sounds like, don't be rude, give people a chance, don't assume the worst. And because of that, I say this. You were trained to override your discernment to prioritize everybody else. Now, those three things aren't bad on their own, nor are they bad lessons. It's when you overdo them that it becomes a problem. You were inadvertently trained to override your discernment before it could even protect you. That's where the problem is. The last one I want to talk about is religious or community pressure. Now, some environments like religion or some type of communities will actively teach you to not trust your gut. This comes in the form of, please forgive quickly. Always assume the best in people. And don't be so judgmental. Now, once again, these are not wrong on their own. You definitely want to have these to become a better person overall internally. But they can be used sometimes as instructions to ignore red flags that you would see on a daily, weekly basis in the name of faith. Now, here's something that you're probably doing as well. I know I have this problem sometimes too. Because of past false alarms of me judging somebody too quickly, I tend to doubt myself with my new judgments. Remember when I thought so-and-so was a bad person because he or she said this? It turns out they were a great person. And so the next time I have a little red flag, I dismiss it. All I know is I was judgmental, I misjudged, and I'm doubting myself again. Now, because you have that doubt, don't let that automatically override your discernment. That is how you have people walk all over you. Once again, to a fault, I'm still there, and it's an ongoing progress that I'm learning right now, even at this age. Now, here's what you need to understand. These aren't character flaws on your behalf. They're wounds. And it's these type of wounds that end up becoming an entryway point. An entryway point for the wrong type of people. Now, some people don't even give your discernment time to even activate because they move quickly. And before you even notice any red flags appear, you're already invested. Now, how do they do this? They ask a lot of questions early. And I don't mean out of curiosity. I mean, they're trying to map you out. Certain people are going to try to extract information strategically too. They ask a lot of questions early on, which is normal. The only thing is they're not doing it out of genuine curiosity. They're trying to map you out, sometimes in the form of a 21 questions, but with a twist. What they're trying to do is learn what you fear, what you value, and most importantly, what you've been through. So that way, they can actually reflect it back onto you if you ever have to question them. The scary thing, it's not that they're getting close, it's that they're trying to remove that internal perspective that you have that could otherwise confirm your gut feeling. This next part, I have to lean in because I need you to understand this. I want you to sit with this and let it marinate. They make you feel seen. This is the one that gets most discerning people. When somebody makes you feel seen, I mean really seen, really understood, your guard drops. And bottom line, it's not because you're naive. It's because you're human. And they chose to still do that. Being made to feel seen is a human need. And it's not a weakness that they swooped in and exploited. It's a violation that they still chose to move forward with. And at what cost? I don't know. Maybe you stop trusting yourself, you stop trusting people, and just everybody as a whole. You may even notice that you start attracting the same type of people in your lives. Is it because they're all messed up, or is it because that entryway point still hasn't been close yet? And then you also have that idea of, well, maybe this is just how friendships and relationships feel like. It becomes the new normal, the new status quo. That last one is probably the most dangerous one, because now you're normalizing feeling drained. You're normalizing being manipulated, unseen, and sometimes over-accommodating to others. And so you just stop seeing it as a problem even worth solving. Now, what's the goal of this video, or what's the goal of even talking about discernment? It's to show you that there's a pattern in friendships and relationships. And that repetition is going to keep continuing until you or somebody interrupts this. We're going to start that interruption today. So how do we start that interrupt? How do we get that discernment to be recalibrated so we're on a stable level? Number one, trust the gut feeling before you hit any type of logical reasoning. Your gut is always going to feel this discomfort, like I said earlier in the video, before it even touches your brain. That gut feeling is the reasoning. You don't need a logical reason. That's your discernment. Follow that. Step two, I would say slow down the intake. Earlier, I talked about somebody who moves in quickly, somebody who moves strategically to try to map you out. That should be a sign right there. If they're trying to speed things up, nah, slow it down. A healthy relationship or a healthy friendship is going to be slow paced and shouldn't feel the need to be rushed. Step 3, I would say watch for people's behavior whenever they're inconvenienced. Whenever you disappoint somebody, whenever you tell them no, or whenever you make yourself not available, watch those moments specifically. Step 4, I would say reintroduce an outside perspective. Your internal gut feeling is going to be a great help to you, but sometimes we do got to lean on our community or our support system. You also have to have some discernment sometimes for your support system. They probably may not always have the best advice to give you, but that's when your discernment kicks in. This is what's going to help you recalibrate. Can you trust your support system? Can you trust your community? Find the common denominator, and I'm pretty sure you'll see if it lines up with that gut feeling that you already had, or maybe it's somewhere in between. Ultimately, your discernment wasn't broken. It was just recalibrated for a person, for a trauma, and sometimes for a system. And that right there honestly should be important. That should matter, because you're not going to try to fix something if you think it's just a personal problem. All right, I was trying to make a short video. Let's land the plane here. What does the remedy look like? It's rebuilding that trust that you had in yourself already. Only this time, you're going to act on it. The next time you're at the bowling alley and somebody wants to smoke outside, you stay inside. The next time people say that they want a ride to go somewhere and you just feel like it's shifty, say, hey man, I can't offer you that ride right now. It's too late to be driving. Or maybe it's the next time that you go out with church members and they want to hit up happy hour. Your discernment kicks in. Just don't go. You don't have to go. Don't nobody have a gun to your head. Just don't go. Simple. Now, is it really simple? No, of course it isn't. This is one of those trying to be antagonistic to you all and playing devil's advocate. But I want to hear from you. Was there ever a time that you went with church members somewhere, you caught a red flag, but you end up talking yourself out of it, and then you really wish you didn't? Leave it down below. Let me know.